Counting on alum, Jessa Duggar-Seawald is in the hot seat after a fan discovered something suspicious on her YouTube channel. Sister Jill Dillard-Duggar has been making headlines due to the release of her book, Counting the Cost. It aims to expose the harmful ideology of the IBLP and the controversial parenting of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. But it seems Jessa is now trying her best to avoid conversations regarding her sister, even on YouTube. Keep reading to learn more. At this point, nobody from the supersized family in Arkansas has officially congratulated Jill for her book. However, that doesn't stop the fourth Duggar child from spreading news about her newest title. She has also participated in different interviews. But what caught the attention of many was the sneak peek featuring Jill claiming she was treated worse than her convicted brother, Josh Duggar. She also added that her father threatened her with lowering her inheritance significantly if she tried to attack them, which ultimately damaged their relationship for years. Reddit user created a discussion after discovering that Jessa's YouTube channel doesn't allow the name Jill. According to the poster, the streaming website has a system that auto-hides comments with certain words. After commenting on one of the Counting on Alum's videos with the word Jill, they found out that it was nowhere to be found. I tried a bunch of keywords, random things, different siblings. The only comments that didn't show up have Jill's name in them, the user added. Meanwhile, some fans believe Jessa Duggar-Seawald has been trying to avoid topics about her sister on her YouTube channel, especially after her controversial pregnancy announcement. Some Counting on fans from Reddit also called out Jessa after the release of her pregnancy announcement vlog. According to some, she could have released it a few weeks earlier, but decided to time it perfectly during Jill's busy week of promoting her book. Some assume she did it to cause distractions. Others also pointed out that Jessa had never been active on social media before her sister began to share the contents of Counting the Cost. Jessa Duggar-Seawald has yet to comment regarding the accusations that she blocked her sister on YouTube and doing damage control. Regardless, some fans are still excited and looking forward to her growing family. Counting on fans knew that Jill Duggar-Dillard and her husband fell out with her dad, but they could only suspect that her siblings also attacked her. Actually, TLC fans seem horrified to learn the extent of the harassment. What emerges in Counting the Cost suggests that Jim Bob Duggar was allegedly behind it all. Counting the Cost certainly sounds like the TLC dad wasn't the man that people saw on the TLC show. So far, it claimed that a terrifying encounter happened when Jim Bob, Derek, and his wife met for a talk. He ended up, the story goes, towering over her in a furious rage. In fact, it seemed that it almost developed into a physical altercation, and she described it as an act of aggression. Apparently, she'd sent her father a text, and he viewed it as verbal abuse. Jill Duggar-Dillard and Jessa chatted with Megyn Kelly in a 4-part series, and in her book, she explained that while it was all about molestation by Josh, he was actually present in the room. So he heard every single word they said. No wonder they seemed to defend him. Can you imagine how difficult that time must have been for the two young women? Even Jill didn't understand why her brother, who inflicted so much pain on her, was allowed to remain. TLC fans are becoming skeptical about Jessa Seawald at the moment. They wonder if her father ordered her to suddenly start posting a lot of things online. Incidentally, it came after she'd been very quiet. Some people also believe that her news about a 5th child on the way arrived seemed suspicious. Social media buzzed with the idea Jim Bob made her do it to deflect attention away from Counting the Cost. After new allegations about sibling attacks, it make it even more believable. Jill Duggar-Dillard described how she discovered alleged tax fraud by her father. Apparently, he kept a list of everything he ever spent on her and secretly filed it as a tax return on her behalf. Well, she and Derek objected. Jim Bob wanted them to drop it. One of her siblings told her, "Pops is telling everyone that if we don't stand against you both on this, then we're standing against him. He said none of us can be neutral here, and that this affects all of us. He says we might all be sued as a result of what you're doing." Jill Duggar Dillard said in her book, "Several of my siblings hit the phones, sending voicemails and texts all day long. As that got them nowhere, they started visiting." The book reveals that they would arrive and chat for hours and even late at night. However, Derek refused them entry when he was studying for his law school exams. They didn't care, just saying, "This is way more important than law school." On Reddit, Vu/WizuSusX commented, "Another crazy thing about this is that it reframes the friendships we thought we knew about. Anytime someone would hang out with Jill, we would rejoice that they weren't shunning her out. But now it turns out some of those visits weren't quite so friendly." Are you surprised that Jim Bob Duggar allegedly got his kids to harass Derek and his wife? Can you imagine the harassment she probably got when she announced her book? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And keep coming back for more news on the Duggar family. Former Counting On star Jinger Duggar Volo has broken her silence on her sister Jill Dillard's tell-all book, Counting the Cost. This week, Jill's book hit shelves and has already captivated readers. Of course, fans are interested to know where her family stands on the book and all of the bombshells she dropped in it. So what has been said so far? Keep reading for all of the details. Jill's new book offers insight into her experience on her family's TLC shows. She also reveals how much she was paid, opens up about her brother Josh's scandals, and much more. She drops many bombshells and spills several family secrets. On Tuesday, September 12th, the day Jill's book was released, Jinger and her husband, Jeremy, appeared on the Tamron Hall show. During their appearance, the topic of Jill's book naturally came up. Tamron asked, "What's your reaction to Jill laying bare how she felt?" In response, Jinger Duggar Volo explained, "Man, Jill's a brave girl. And I think that her coming out and telling her story, I'm so glad that she's found her. And I love and support her, and I know that is the hardest thing to do, having just gone through that process." She went on to say that they shared their stories in different ways. Then the proud sister said, "But I'm just so glad that she is finding her voice and able to communicate what has been on her heart for so many years." Jinger described Jill's experiences as heartbreaking. Jinger Duggar Volo also published a book detailing her journey from the IBLP, Institute in Basic Life Principles, to becoming free. However, her book focuses more on her personal faith journey, while Jill's is more about their family, their show, their religious beliefs, and more. Fans feel that Jill's book is likely rocking the boat with her family, while Jinger played it safe. So far, most of the family has kept quiet about Jill Duggar Dillard's book. Jim Bob's sister, Deanna Duggar, and her daughter, Amy King, have both shown support for Jill and applauded her for speaking out. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar have issued statements on the book itself. They also made a comment on Jill's claims about how much she was paid. However, their kids are keeping quiet for now. Fans are eager to see if anyone else breaks their silence. So, what do you think of Jinger Duggar Volo's comments about Jill Dillard's book? Do you think any other family members will share their thoughts publicly? Sound off in the comments section below, and come back to for more news about the Duggars. Former Counting On star Jill Duggar Dillard has revealed the shocking lengths Jim Bob went to protect Josh. The eldest Duggar child has been involved in many scandals over the years, and through it all, his father has stood by his side. Now, Jill is revealing more information about just how far her father went to protect him. Jill's new book, Counting the Cost, hit shelves on Tuesday, September 12. In the memoir, the Duggar daughter opens up about her upbringing, being on TLC, her brother Josh's scandals, and more. She reveals some shocking secrets about her family and dishes on details that haven't been public before. In August 2015, the news broke that Josh had been using a site called Ashley Madison. The website was created to help people find extramarital affairs. According to the reports, Josh had been paying to use the site to look for a partner aside from his wife, Anna Duggar. Amid this scandal, Jim Bob attempted to get help for his son. However, Jill now shares that there's much more to the story and that her father went to great lengths to protect Josh, despite him trying to cheat on his wife. In her book, Jill opened up about how she learned about Josh's Ashley Madison scandal. At the time, she and Derek Dillard were on a mission trip in El Salvador, so they didn't always have access to the internet. One day, Derek logged onto Twitter and informed Jill that her brother was making headlines. Upon reaching out to her parents, Jill learned that her brother was being sent away again. Shortly after this, Derek and Jill returned back to Arkansas for a previously arranged visit. There they received an update on Josh, who was in a rehab center in Illinois. Jim Bob said that Josh was working in the kitchen and that he was doing really well. Jim Bob went on to reveal how challenging it was to get Josh into the rehab center due to the paparazzi following them closely and tracking his flight. Jill said she understood her parents' desire to protect and care for their child. However, she added, "I couldn't help but think about the lengths that Pops had gone to in order to guard Josh's privacy and keep him from being publicly humiliated." Fans are reacting to these shocking details and are sad for Jill, of course. You can see their responses here. So does it shock you how far Jim Bob Duggar went to protect Josh? Are you glad that Jill Duggar Dillard is sharing her side of the story? Sound off in the comments section below and come back for more news about the Duggars. Former Counting On star Jill Duggar Dillard is exposing more of her parents, Jim Bob and Michelle's shocking rules. Thanks to her family's TLC shows, fans know a lot about the strict guidelines their family follows. But now, the 32-year-old has even more to share. What did she reveal now? Duggar fans are aware of many of the family's strict rules. The family belongs to the Institute in Basic Life Principles. They are expected to court instead of date, not kiss before marriage, and more. They also follow strict rules when it comes to modesty. Over the years, some of the adult kids have stopped following these guidelines and started wearing clothes that wouldn't typically be accepted by their parents. For example, Jill Duggar now wears shorts, jeans, and other somewhat revealing clothing. By society's standards, this isn't a big deal. But for the Duggars, it is. It turns out that this all goes much deeper than fans initially thought, as Jill keeps spilling even more information about her family's rules. While fans knew that the kids couldn't wear jeans or short skirts or dresses, many didn't know the full extent of the rules. In her new book, Counting the Cost, Jill Duggar Dillard details some of the things her parents told her regarding the modesty rules. In her book, Jill shared more details about her parents' strict modesty rules. She revealed just how much pressure her parents put on her and her sisters to dress modestly and now show too much skin. She said her mother previously told her, "When women wear tight or revealing clothes that show certain parts of their skin between their collarbone and knees, it gets guys going and can stir up sensual desires. It can make them think evil thoughts. When girls do that to men, they're defrauding them. That's not good, and it can lead them to sin." Jill's book drops many more details about her family, their TLC shows, and more. So there are many more big reveals to come. She discusses the little payment she received for her nearly 10 years on TLC. So, what do you think of the latest details that Jill Duggar has revealed in her book about her parents? Does any of this shock you? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and come back for more news about Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's family. Duggar fans are beside themselves as Jill Dillard dropped a massive bombshell regarding her father, Jim Bob, and her brother, Josh.